cell membrane or plasma membrane. So for we are discussing about cell as a structure and function. So in that majorly already we have discussed that cell consists of mainly three parts. That is cell membrane. Okay, that is cell membrane and cytoplasm, then nucleus, right? Okay, cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus. So now we'll discuss about the cell membrane. As you know that only the cell wall present in plant cell, but the animal cell and the plant cell, these both animal and plant cell both contain outermost membrane as nothing but cell membrane. This membrane also called plasma membrane. Okay, so here we have activity to identify the cell membrane. Okay, so as we know that every cell consists of cell membrane. Okay, so every cell consists of cell membrane over it. Okay, the cell is covered over by the cell membrane. This is nothing but cell membrane, outermost layer of cell called cell membrane. So let us see whether the cell membrane is present in every cell or not. Okay, see here, observing the cell membrane. So to observe the cell membrane, we require some materials, right? What are the materials we require to observe the cell membrane under the microscope? Let us see this rheolith. Okay, leaf, and we have to take this leaf. Okay, rheolith and this leaf. For example, this is a leaf, so we have to take some portion of the leaf. Okay, when we tear this leaf, we get a thin layer. Okay, we get a thin layer. The small thin layer, we had to place it on the slide. You can see this is a slide which is made up of a glass material, translucent glass. So on this slide we place that small portion of leaf. Okay, so after the small portion of leaf, we placed it on the slide and add one or two drops of water. Okay, add 1 or 2 drops of water. So after adding 1 or 2 drops of water, we cover this total portion. Here is a portion, so we cover this portion. We cover this leaf slice material with the cover slip. Okay. After covering this with cover slip, then we observe this total slide under the microscope. Observe the material under the microscope. So when we observe this under the microscope, you can see the structure is like this. Okay, you can see the structure is like this. See what is the structure is present here. So here you can see a layer. See, this is a layer. And for example, you think this is a cell. Okay, you think this is a cell. This yellow color spot inside the cell is nothing but nucleus. Okay, and here the pink color substance, pink color, the area which is in pink color is nothing but cytoplasm. Cytoplasm. So, and this layer around these cells. Okay, here. So these layers are nothing but, this is nothing but cell membrane. Okay, this is nothing but cell membrane. You know, this is in dark color. Okay, you can observe it clearly because this is a cell. Which is cell? Plant cell. Okay, this is nothing but tissue. This is a plant tissue. You know that plant cell consists of 2 layers. What are the layers? Cell wall and cell membrane. Okay, so here both layers are present. So that's why you can see this is some somewhat thick and dark because both layers are present here. So this outermost layer of the cell is nothing but in this what is there? Cell membrane also present. Okay, so you can see this clearly under the microscope. When we see under the microscope, the structure will be like this. Okay, so here you can see 3 structures which are present inside the cell. See cell membrane, you can see cell membrane clearly. Cytoplasm, where is the pink color? Okay, the substance which is in pink color is nothing but cytoplasm, and a nucleus, yellow color substance. Okay, but actually the nucleus is not in yellow color and cytoplasm is not in pink color. We can stain it. To observe that clearly, we can stain. After staining, then they observe that color and that turns into that particular color. Okay, so here identification will be easily, so that's why we use a staining process. So here this is a this is a cell membrane. Okay, and same we have one more activity here. So in this activity, See, the leaf which we collect from the Rio leaf, the part which collect from the leaf, we should keep 1 hour after placing on the slide. After placing on the slide, we need to add 1 or 2 drops of dilute salt solution. Okay, so 1 or 2 drops of a salt solution. If we add salt solution, what happens? So when we add salt solution, here you can see the structure. After addition of salt solution, we have to leave it for some time. Okay, 5 or 6 minutes we have to add. We have to allow. After that 5 or 6 minutes, you can observe under the microscope. Then the structure will be different. See here, here this is picture A, this is picture B. Means here before adding salt water, this is after adding of salt water. What happened here? What is the change here? See, the cytoplasm which is inside the cell, cytoplasm which is inside the cell may shrink. Okay, so it will be shrink and you can see the cell membrane clearly. You can see the cell membrane clearly. Here it is a red color one. This is a here it is a gaps, white color gaps. You can see that is nothing but plasma membrane. The shrunken cytoplasm. Shrunken cytoplasm is in a red color. Why this is shrunken? Because we add salt. Okay, so always the function of salt is nothing but absorption of water from the material. Okay, here to this leaf portion we add salt water, 1 or 2 drops of salt water. So the salt absorbs the water content which is inside the cytoplasm. So the total water removed from the cytoplasm, then it becomes shrunken. Okay, it's become thicker, right? So by shrinking we can see clearly. We can see clearly wherever the plasma membrane is present. Okay, this is the cell membrane. Okay, these are two activities to identify the cell membrane. In the unit, see here, observe it under the microscope. So when we observe under the microscope, it will be like this, right? Then see here, when we put a salt solution, what happened to this material when we put in a salt solution? The peel of leaf, water present inside the leaf or leaf cells come out. Okay, comes out from the cytoplasm. So when the water content, it lost water. When it's lost water, it becomes stronger. So it's a result in the shrinking of the cytoplasm along with the cell membrane. Okay, the outer boundary of covered area is actually cell membrane or plasma membrane. So which become separated from the cell wall. This becomes separated from the cell wall after shrinking it. Here you can see, here is a cell wall and here the outermost layer which also shrink along with this cytoplasm is nothing but cell membrane. Okay, so these are two activities how to observe the cell membrane, right? So then come to functions of cell membrane. So in a cell membrane plays a major role. Okay, the role of cell membrane is we can say that it is protection. First of all, protection. Okay, which is outermost layer of the cell. Okay, cell wall is present. Even though this also involved in the preparation, involved in the protection of the cell. This is made up of lipids and proteins. This is made up of lipids and proteins. Okay, these lipids and proteins are synthesized from the ribosomes. Okay, synthesized from endoplasmic reticulum. ER means endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum is two types. That is rough endoplasmic reticulum is RER. SER means smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, the endoplasmic reticulum which contain ribosomes. On this. Okay, which contain ribosomes on that. So that endoplasmic reticulum is rough endoplasmic reticulum, and the endoplasmic reticulum which does not contain any ribosomes, that is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, in a further classes we can discuss about this endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so here rough endoplasmic reticulum is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Where ribosomes are present called rough endoplasmic reticulum. Where absence of ribosomes are called smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Here the function of rough endoplasmic reticulum, synthesis of proteins or manufacturing of proteins. Then smooth endoplasmic reticulum which is synthesis lipids. Okay, so the lipids and proteins which are manufactured in this endoplasmic reticulum are provided to the cell for its repairing. Okay, so here the cell membrane which is in the cell, right? So this is one of the part in cell. This is for example cell, this is cell membrane. Okay, so this cell membrane is synthesized. The cell membrane is synthesized or manufactured by using lipids and proteins. Then how, from where these lipids where these lipids and proteins are comes from. These lipids and proteins are comes from the endoplasmic reticulum. That from RER provide proteins and SER provide lipids. So by using these lipids and proteins, the cell membrane will be built. Okay, the construction of cell membrane is with the help of lipids and proteins which are synthesized in this endoplasmic reticulum. Is it clear? Right. These lipids and proteins are used in the manufacturing of cell membrane, and which provide some flexible nature to this cell membrane. So this flexibility helps to the cell membrane to protect the internal parts of the cell. Okay, because of this flexibility, cell membrane can protect the cell organelles, right? So this is a protection. And one more function, exchange of substances. Exchange of substances. Okay, exchange of substances. What are the substances exchanged towards this cell? Okay, into and out. For example, this is a cell. So cell required oxygen, right? Cell required oxygen. You know that. As you know that cell together or tissue together, organ together, systems together, body. See, our body utilizing oxygen means this oxygen moves to the systems, through systems, this oxygen from systems to it's passed to organs. From organs, the oxygen passed to the tissues. From the tissues, the oxygen passed to the cells. Is it right? Yes. So in this way, this is the order. This is the order, or this is a pathway of moving oxygen from body. Nothing but systems to organs to tissue to cell. Finally, oxygen reaches the cell, right? So when oxygen reaches the cell, here oxygen reaching the cell, what is there here? Cell membrane is present. Yes, these cell membranes will give permission to this oxygen. Okay, any substance which want to enter into the cell, first of all it's take permission of the cell membrane. Is it right? Okay, so means it is in the exchange, it is involved in the that exchange of gas substances. So here one substance is there, that is oxygen. Okay, this oxygen want to comes into the cell. So then this oxygen must allowed by the cell membrane itself. If the cell membrane will not allow this oxygen cannot enter into the cell. Okay, so that's why this cell membrane allow the substances which are useful to the cell. As here oxygen is useful to the cell. Okay, which will be oxygen utilized by the cell for its function. So that's why cell required the oxygen. So then this cell membrane will give permission to the oxygen to enter into the cell, right? So some process will be goes on in this cell. So in that process, during that process, some gas liberate, that carbon dioxide released in the cell. So this carbon dioxide is not at all useful to the cell. So that's why this carbon dioxide must send out, okay, from the cell. It must remove from the cell. So the removal process, removing of carbon dioxide also under the control of this cell membrane. Okay, so this carbon dioxide from the cell removed by the plasma membrane, through this plasma membrane, and from cell to carbon dioxide reach the tissues, from tissues to organs, from organs to system, from systems to it comes out. Okay, so that in this way we will expel out. So means where this carbon dioxide produced, which is produced inside the cell. Okay, so from the cell through this cell membrane, the carbon dioxide released out. Means any substance which want to enter into the cell and which want to go out from the cell, that is dependent upon the cell membrane. Okay, so the cell membrane will give permission, okay, will permit some substances to enter into the cell. Okay, only with the permission of this cell membrane, any substance can enter into the cell. So that's why the cell membrane is called selectively permeable membrane, because only selected substances or enters into the cell. So that's why we can say the cell membrane is also called selective. See here is the word selective permeable membrane. See here, hence it is known as selective permeable membrane. Why do we call it a selective permeable membrane? See, as we see this, any substance entering or leaving the cell can do so only through this membrane. Through this membrane means through cell membrane. So the cell uniqueness of this membrane lies in the fact that it does not allow every substance, which allow only some selected useful substances, right? So which does not allow every substances to pass through it. Exchange of substances through the cell membrane happens very selectively. Very selectively means only selected substances are allowed by the cell membrane. So that's why based on this character, we can say the cell membrane is selectively permeable membrane. Okay na? So this is the cell membrane and its function. And here you can see this character of the membrane enables it to control the exchange of substances. Exchange of substances between the cell and the external environment. Okay, this will be happens through this cell membrane. Okay, at the same time, this cell membrane separates the cytoplasm from the external environment. Okay, which is separate. For example, you can see inside what is there? Cytoplasm is there, outside external environment. So this environment, this cytoplasm must separated by the cell membrane from the external environment. So this cell membrane involved in protection, separation of cytoplasm from the external environment, and which also allow few substances, selected substances, so means which involve in exchange of substances. So that's why we will call it is a selective permeable membrane. Okay. See here the cell membrane is the outermost layer of the cell that separates the cytoplasm from the external environment. This is also called plasma membrane. So the cell membrane define the shape, size of the cell, which define the shape and the size of the cell, and which enclose the cytoplasm. Okay, which enclose the cytoplasm and protects from the external environment. So the internal environment of the cell is different from that of outside. The environment which is inside the cell is completely different from outside. Okay, because cytoplasm is present here and many organelles are present. It is completely different from outside. So that's why this is protected and separated by the cell membrane. So inside cell, once we find very specific composition of various substances which maintain a balance. So that substances are helps in maintaining of balance. So the cell membrane plays a crucial role in maintaining this balance. How it maintains its balance? By exchanging of substances. How much water required to the cell? Okay, only that much water allowed by the cell membrane. Enough water will not allowed by the cell membrane. Okay, so in this way, how much air, how much water, the quantity, okay, the quantity and that balance will be maintained by the cell membrane. Okay, so in this way, cell membrane helps to the cell in a protection, in providing shape and size, at the same time in the exchange of gases or substances through it. Okay, this is about the cell membrane.